Welcome everyone to this Tech workshop. I'm your host, Kyle LOFTUS, and today we're embarking on a fascinating journey of recreating the iconic Nolan film look for Oppenheimer. Let's dive on in. Today we're gonna spill the secrets on how to recreate its stunning look, utilizing some seriously rad lighting techniques and these incredible lights by Tech. Today, we are specifically focusing on utilizing the G200 and G60 of the Molus family, as well as the 5-array V60. But before we dive in, let's talk shop. Today, we're gonna really focus on reverse key lighting. Now, this is a strategy you do not want to forget. Forget about traditional butterfly or book lighting. Oppenheimer flips the script with reverse key lighting, adding depth and drama to every single scene. Today, you're gonna learn how to ace this technique. All right guys, welcome to lighting look 1 for recreating the Oppenheimer look. So we're gonna go ahead and set up our lights. Now we've already got a key light splashed on, just like you saw in my intro video. And again, what I talked about earlier was reverse key lighting, right? And so the idea here is we are putting our key lights on the reverse side. So we always wanna shoot shadow side. Shadow side, meaning the side with our shadow is closest to the camera, right? And what this allows us to do is get a lot more depth in the image, and it creates a lot more shaping on our figures as well. And so it just makes for, again, a much more captivating and interesting image. And so what I'm doing right now is I am setting up this reverse key. So again, I'm setting it up on the reverse side. So me being the main subject for this particular shot, right? I'm gonna be looking off camera this way with our A camera and B camera set up right there. And so again, this is gonna have the shadow side closest to the cameras, and again, allow for a really captivating image. So what you'll see with most of the setups in Oppenheimer was, again, a side light or top light-esque look, and mainly emphasizing, again, on that reverse key lighting. Currently, this Molus G200 was set to 6,500 Kelvin. I'm going to daylight balance at 5,600 Kelvin. And I'm gonna really brighten this up so we can fill this space. So I'm sitting at about 85% right now. Now I'm gonna additionally take this Molus 60W and I'm gonna use this to just do what's called ceiling bounce. So if you just kind of show the ceiling really quick for me, Tashi. So you can see we got a nice white ceiling. And so I'm gonna use that to my advantage, and I'm just gonna bounce this light off the ceiling. And so what that's gonna do is it's gonna allow me to get some really nice, soft ambient light. So just fill in the space with a little more light so we can see everything without particularly lighting anything up. So we're at about 2,700 Kelvin right now. I'm gonna go ahead and switch this again to 5,600, and I'm gonna switch this to 100. What I love about these lights is you can actually just quick press and it'll jump up about 20 degrees. So just with a couple clicks, I'm literally able to go from 0 to 100% on the intensity level. You can do that with the temperature of the light as well. So we're now at 5,600 Kelvin, right? And at 100%, shooting towards my subject. And again, all this is doing is it's creating a little more light within the space for us. And then lastly, the last light setup I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and set up our backlight. And so we've already got this on, as you guys can kind of see, but I'm gonna slightly adjust this. I'm gonna get a little more power output of it. All right, so a little more power output. We're at 6,500. Again, we're gonna go jump to 55. All right, and we're gonna drop this dim down to about 6%. Nope, we're sitting at about 4. Just about 4% there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn these house lights off. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and take a peek at camera. Check it out. So as you guys can see really with the image here, right? So again, recreating that Oppenheimer-esque look. We've got some soft ambient light in the space, right? It's really dim, really dark, but we can still make out the full scene and environment. Similar to the Oppenheimer look, again, we have that we have that soft backlight. What that allows us to do is create more depth, realize how far away our subject is from the background. Again, just making for a more dynamic and interesting image. And as you can see, again, we've got that reverse key light there. So I'm just setting up this fill light here, gonna add in a little fill simply because if we look at our image compared to the film image, we've got a little bit more contrast, and they've got some really, really nice soft light there. And so it's just rolling off a little smoother. And so I want to kind of meet that. And so I'm just going to add this in. This is literally about 5%. Bam, there we go. So just got that little fill light. Again, just so we have more of a well-rounded soft image kind of across the face there, and we don't have such much of a stark contrast from the shadow side to the key side. Secondly, we're gonna focus on side and top-down lighting. We're ditching the ordinary and embracing the extraordinary. Side and top-down lighting is a major focus when highlighting the protagonist, aka Oppenheimer himself, throughout the film. This is how to make movie magic, utilizing just these two lighting setups. All right, guys, welcome to lighting setup number 2. So we got Jason sitting in for me. Again, I got a little bit of ambient light right now just so we can kind of see the environment and stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and spike that off. This is unnecessary light. We actually wanna take that away. We wanna have a really nice dramatic look. Again, he's kind of riding on the train here. We've got some warm light from the train coming in. And so we want to really focus on that, right? That warm light coming in as the key. Now, I've got this 5-array V60 at a 5600 color balance, or excuse me, 5600 Kelvin at 1%. So again, I'm just using this for soft, gentle fill. Just again, so we don't absolutely lose him on the shadow side. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this key light here and I'm gonna bring this over and I'm gonna shine again from side light, top down, right? And again, as we see again with our two main cameras, we are on the reverse side, right? So the shadow side is closest to the cameras here, and we are on the reverse side with our key. So again, we make a more dramatic, captivating, and interesting image. Now again, I'm pulling the light away slightly from the wall. As you can see here, when it hits the wall, right, we light it up. We wanna not light up the wall. We wanna maintain that really, really soft image here. And again, we're at about 90% with the intensity, so a bit too high with the intensity. I'm gonna go ahead and take this down to about 70%. Let it sit there and then go back and check camera while I'm adjusting this stuff with y'all. And again, I'm gonna go to 2700 Kelvin on here, and we're gonna take a look at camera. Jump in really quick, see what we're looking like, right? So we look pretty good, but we are way, way too warm on the image here, right? And so what I'm gonna do is use that mark, make my adjustments here. So rather than 2700, again, it's a little too warm. I could always clean this up in post, but we're here. So why not do it now, right? I'm all about doing things practically, making the adjustments in camera so you don't have to deal with it in post. So I am going to 4600, right? 4600, and I'm gonna kind of settle in around there. Take another look. Nice, and this is much more of the image that I'm looking for here. Now, the one thing I would say is I'm actually gonna trade off. So the 5-array is giving us some fill, but as you guys could see, it was actually adding too much shadow onto the background there. So I'm actually gonna switch back to this ceiling bounce here, and this is much, much more ideal. We're at 100% output, 5600 Kelvin. I'm gonna bring that down to 50%, jump back into camera and take a look. All right, guys, this is looking really, really good. I'm gonna make some final adjustments here, and then we're gonna recreate the scene. Coming in with V flat here. And the real reason why I'm doing this is because on the shadow side, getting enough shadow. It was not hitting the way I really wanted it to. And so again, what I'm really looking to do here is just make this a bit stronger. And so I'm gonna set up this V-flat. So that way we have no ambient light or anything really bouncing and creating more light on that shadow side. Nice, we're looking a lot better there. I'll maybe take this ceiling bounce, and what I'm gonna do is kind of shine it over off on this side. And again, as you can kind of see, it's super subtle on the image, but as I turn this, it slightly alters the amount of light we're getting on that shadow side. So I'm gonna shoot this away. That's not really where we wanna emphasize the light, right? And now we're at a really, really good look, and the final adjustments I can make from here, I'm gonna take care of in post. So without further ado, again, let's have Oppenheimer take the scene. All right, guys, welcome to the third and final look for the Oppenheimer film recreations. Again, we are going for that side top-down lighting. So we've already got our white background kind of emulating that window light seen in the background. Now we've got some black materials to emulate some of that office space stuff. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this key light. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this up a little bit. We're gonna go at 80% intensity, 5600. Again, we're going for that key light balance, going for that daylight balance, just like we see in the image. So again, a nice side top-down look here. And as you can see in the image, we're very, very close already to that film recreation. However, the main problem is, again, we're really, really dark on the shadow side. Like, honestly, almost lost everything in the shadows. And so, although we are not doing any book light, we are gonna use a bounce here, right? And again, we could use a different light for some fill if we wanted, but personally, I love using a bounce because we already got a soft source coming through a softbox, right? When it bounces off of here and reflects back. So again, that's multiple different pathways the light is going through, which continuously softens up the light, right? So this is just gonna allow us to get a much, much more soft bounce back here and just add a little bit more to the shadow side, right? So as you can see, pulling this away from the image, right? And now putting it back on, right? So subtle difference here, but it makes a huge difference in reality, right? Because now we have a little more lift in the shadows. We can actually see what's going on. We can see more dimension in his face and more shaping. And this is something, if we choose to, we can always take away in post, guys. So that's why I always recommend really lighting and getting things perfect in camera so you have full flexibility in post. So without further ado, let's have Oppenheimer take the scene. Now, of course, color grading is part of the secret sauce. You can give your footage that final Oppenheimer finesse by adding in a greenish tint and earth tones with the grade. And additionally, by emphasizing the warm highlights in post, as well as utilizing a warmer temperature, thanks to Zhiyun lights being bicolor. Now, what's a movie without some tricks up its sleeve? Oppenheimer dazzles with cinematic techniques, camera angles, composition, and again, these isolated portraits that just captivate you. I love how Nolan brings to the room with Oppenheimer with these stunning portraits and that IMAX look. And remember, it's not just about looking cool. It's about telling a killer story. Notice how Oppenheimer uses these various visual techniques to enhance the narrative, right? Being intentional with your filmmaking is important. It's really important to clearly convey your message as well as the story in a concise format. Without further ado, it's time for you to unleash the movie magic and master the Oppenheimer look. Now that you know the reverse key strategy in combination with side and top-down lighting, what are you waiting for? Now get ready to put your skills to the test. We've shown you how to set up and shoot the Oppenheimer look with these game-changing techniques. Grab your gear, it's showtime. Get out there, create, and let your imagination run wild. On behalf of Zion Tech, I am Kyle Loftus, and thank you again for tuning in to this Oppenheimer recreation workshop. I look forward to seeing you in the next.